Most of us research and even read reviews before buying a phone or even a gadget. But while choosing a career, not many of us really care about it. To help Indian students in choosing the right career, Samyak Jain, an IIT graduate, is building his startup MyWays.in. In this video, the journey of a startup is explained in detail. Little things like finding an idea, validating an idea, finding a team, getting funding from government, the process of getting incubation, and most importantly, getting started with zero investment is explained in this video. So, watch this video till the end. So, hey guys, this is Ram from the Business Monk. Today we are in Delhi with the founder and CEO of MyWays.in. So, Samyak, tell us what your startup is all about.
So, MyWays is basically a machine learning and psychometric empowered career planning platform, right? So, what we do is we personalize the parallel learning for the students, for the college students as well as for the school students. By parallel learning, I mean whatever is being taught to you in college and what is required in the industry is quite different for most of the universities, right? There's a huge industry academia gap.
Sure.
And there are a lot of online courses which are coming up, a lot of opportunities one can explore in terms of internships. We analyze the student and help them connect with relevant opportunities in terms of internships, trainings, hackathons and all of that.
So, how exactly your startup is helping Indian students?
Yeah. So what we do is we particularly help college students in identifying what exactly is their skill level and what is their skill gap, right? So using this skill level to help them place in various companies for industry exposure, to do certain internships, and to use the skill gap to identify how these gaps can be filled for the student to actually get into industry. So we connect them to relevant courses, online courses, offline trainings for this purpose. And all of that is being done through artificial intelligence approaches, right? So the analysis is on the student, also on the industry that the student is mapped to, how the recruiters is actually seeing the student, and also what is the risk factor. Taking the data of the multiple people just like the student, we calculate the risk factor as well, and through all of this analysis we map the student to right opportunities, connect them with the right opportunities, and also track their growth in this journey. So we believe that career is not a destination, it's rather a journey, right? And we are there to travel with the student in this journey.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the idea, when did you get this idea and how did you find this idea actually?
I just graduated from IIT Delhi 6 months back. So while I was in first year at IIT, I thought of this overall race for IITs. They are so focused that you do not really know why you are doing it, just because someone has told you to do it, for most of us, right? Or just that because it is so much respected that you go into this race. And in these 2 years of 11th and 12th, I was just preparing for IIT. When I got into IIT Delhi, I saw there's a lot of opportunities much beyond what you have explored. And to find what is good for me and to do it would eventually lead to better results. So optimizing my energy, my effort, and finally putting my effort. So I have to work not for next 10 years, 20 years, right? At least I'll work for next 40 or 50 years. So where do I spend that energy? If I'm able to explore it initially, then it would lead to a beautiful life. This was basically how I actually thought of mentoring the students initially. Connecting the college students with school students was what it was, and eventually it led to something of career guidance, and then how we can use technology, machine learning approaches to scale this product, scale this solution for a lot of users, right? So it was back in first year I had this idea of doing something in the education domain, because I'm literally very moved when I see someone who is actually following what he or she likes, right? And I'm also very disappointed if I am wasting my time, if I'm not putting my best effort to produce best results, right? So this was how it was started, how all of this was.
Talking about IITs in specific, I'm very curious to know why there are a lot of startups in India, majorly from IITs.
Though definitely like IIT helps you in getting good network. I think network is one thing which is helping you in everything, in shaping your idea, in getting you good network, good mentorship, everything. I think IIT network is really good, and I feel there's nothing about IIT as such, but what you need to do is you need to build a strong network. If you're not from IIT, you have to build some strong network so as to get enough support, and that support would start from mentorship to even investment to even beyond, even the team, right? So if you have good network, it doesn't matter if you're from IIT or not. I feel investors prefer because of their good network and good understanding, which eventually comes from people.
For an individual idea, an idea is always great.
Right.
But how do we really validate an idea?
Idea validation, if you're building a startup, it's really important to identify who is your customer segment, right? And so again, another resource I think is which is good at the initial stages to fill business model canvas, right? It is good to fill it in like multiple times, do multiple iterations. Through this you'll get to know who exactly is your customer segment that you're targeting, what is the value that you're adding to that customer. So when you are validating your idea, you have to go to the right customer and ask the right questions about validation, right? Or if you already have a product, a prototype, this is the best part, right? So go to them, ask their problems, build a small prototype in 5 days, 10 days, or it depends on what exactly is your product. And to go again to the same customer with that prototype and go ahead with different set of questions. You have to be really prepared when you're doing validation. What are your hypotheses that you're testing? What are your assumptions that you're taking? Knowing what you don't know is really important. Knowing that
in order to transform an idea into execution, so who are the mentors or the kind of incubation you're into right now?
Right.
How did it actually started?
Approximately 2 years back, I thought of doing something in this field and actually went into the field to test my problem, to validate my problem that yes, this is the problem with not just me but with a lot of people, that they do not get proper career guidance, right? So in this process, I received a lot of guidance. So currently our mentors, Mr. Sunil Chaturvedi, and who is IIT Delhi alumnus, and also Professor Saurabh from IIT Delhi is helping us. Apart from that, I'm getting financial support from MHRD through Design Innovation Center at IIT Delhi. And then this place, Supreme Co-work. So Supreme Incubator has been really good. They have been connecting me with top industry mentors to actually make this idea possible, right? Apart from that, I really get mentorship from people like you, everyone I meet, because eventually you will be someone who will be using my solution, using my product. So what you are thinking is really important for me. So I really like to talk to people, and they are my best mentors, I feel. Yeah.
Well, since you got incubation from the government, so what are the things government look at a startup or an idea before giving incubation?
Right. So in my case, it was basically through Design Innovation Center, which is like Design Innovation Center at IIT Delhi. They have such centers across various universities. For me, it was like proper. You need to have a good clarity on what your product is. You need to know what are the positives and what are the negatives of the product. You really need to know so your startup is like your baby, but at the same time you need to know where your baby is lacking for the startup to grow, right? You have to have clarity on what you do not know. Knowing what you do not know is really important, and admitting it that you do not know it, and in the process you'll be knowing it, is really important. I feel enough traction on the product is a positive thing to get any support. But even if you are going ahead with good idea, one important thing is build small, right? Whatever idea you have to at least test it with someone. Without testing it, I don't think so you're going to go ahead. So I always say that you need to start at this moment. You do not have to wait for the right moment to come to start. If you have something, if you know that this thing might work, you have to actually test it if it is working or not. So for such, suppose there are a lot of platforms. F6S is one. There are a lot of opportunities you can. I think getting very active on LinkedIn really helps. So you need to try out various incubation centers. for me it was like in home that I got support at IIT Delhi, and then I tried out for Supreme Co-work, right, Supreme Incubator here. I applied with my pitch deck and all the clarity of the vision that I had with few traction. We have worked with around 5,000 students right now. So I applied with all of that and I got through it.
Since you graduated from IIT Delhi, I'm sure that there are a lot of companies out there to recruit people from IIT Delhi. But why do you choose a risky startup rather, getting a secure job?
Right. Sir Nomesh once mentioned that when you are here, right, so we were sitting at some place in IIT and he mentioned when you are here, the worst thing that can happen to you is that you will get a good job. He's saying the worst thing that can happen is getting a good job. So I thought, वो तो फिर हो ही जाना है, मतलब I would actually get it. So why should I go after this rather than the potential that I have should be used for what I can do. Otherwise, someone will hire me to build their dreams. Rather, I would prefer to build my own. So I did not sit for placements in my final year. Then got some support from IIT Delhi as well. So now, like placement offers is something like I do not really care about a lot.
Talking about entrepreneurship as a career, Indian parents have this, vision of sending kids into great MNCs. So what was the initial reaction when you said like, no, I don't want to get into a job, I want to become an entrepreneur? What was the reaction?
With my parents, right?
Yeah.
So most of the parents, like in India, we see that for them, either your kid can either be a doctor or an engineer or rather a disguise, right? But eventually I've been really fortunate enough that I've received good support from my brother and my parents, right? And they've never forced me into something, neither into IITs nor now selecting the job. So I remember
talking about execution, once you got the incubation or once you thought of taking the things little further, it's very important to have a right team.
Yeah.
How do you tackle it out?
Yeah, you rightly mentioned. I think team is something which should be the core to you. Leave apart your vision, leave apart everything. You should have a good team to go ahead, right? Because team can build the startup, team can also destroy the startup.
Yeah.
So, like, vision is something which binds all of us in the team, right? I was sharing with you like how everyone in the team have this aim of following their passion, right, and do whatever they are really good at. So I am naturally attracted to such people, and such people are obviously attracted to the idea. So getting the team, attracting people in the team was not really difficult, but yeah, it took time. So you have to be really patient. You do not have to have everyone in the team. You do not have to have no one in the team. You have to maintain a good balance between what would be the role of the person and what vision that person is coming in the team, right? And you have to be really clear what is the role of that person, right? It should not be overlapping. It should never be overlapping. In the team I am a non-techie, then we have a person who is a core techie in the development area, then we have someone in the core machine learning area, and all of us are really complementary in that sense. So complementary skill set is really important, common vision is important, and your bonding with the team is important. These three things like I look for anyone.
Okay. What is that major challenge any startup can face?
I think the biggest challenge that everyone faces, even we are facing, and one face every time, is focus, right? So knowing what you want to do and knowing what you do not want to do is really important, because there's a lot of stuff, you can do everything, but knowing what exactly is your focus is very important.
So when we are working on an idea, we get a mixed set of opinions from people. Few say it's good, few say it's wrong. So what according to you should we consider taking it?
Right. So I think it's really important to identify what feedback you're looking at, right? What is the hypothesis that you are trying to prove either true or false, right? So if it is about your idea, if it is about the problem, then you have to identify major stakeholders and talk to those stakeholders. Let us say if I'm building a rocket, right? I won't go to my friend and ask the feedback from my friend that I'm building this rocket. You need to see who is the end person who is giving the feedback, right? So for our case, every student, if I present this idea to any student, end user is a student, right? So my friends, my siblings, everyone has their own view, and we need to really take it as they are saying. And also in the process, you need to identify how knowledgeable is that person to talk about it.
Okay, like, have you ever felt like giving up on your idea?
Not really, not at all. What I would have felt sometime would be to do it later on in the stage, but I'm really attached to this vision of solving this problem in education sector. Hence, giving up is not an option. Maybe postponing it a bit, maybe bringing it back to the time when it is required.